Hi guys, and thanks for watching our weather update on April 12th, 2023. So today, we're getting the latest from the warnings and from the satellite and the radar from this quite severe low pressure we're seeing right now. And we'll look at the detailed forecast for the next 5 days, and then we'll go through to where's met.ie to see the weather for the next 2 weeks or so. And there are signals for high pressure and warm weather to build in at the end of this week, towards the weekend and towards the start of next week. So that's what we'll be looking at later on. But starting off, we have 2 orange warnings that are still in force, as well as 2 yellow ones that cover the whole country if you combine them together. So we'll start off with the orange warnings here. Now it's currently 7:54 a.m. and these are valid till 8 a.m. both of them. So these will expire in 6 minutes time. By the time I'm watching this is probably already gone, well gone, but actually. So there's an orange wind warning for Kerry, or there was. Stormy for a time with damaging gusts in excess of 110 km/h. It was valid from 2 a.m. and will very shortly expire. And there's also an orange warning for Cork. Stormy for a time with gusts in excess of 110 km/h. It was valid from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and it will be ending at 8 a.m. Quite a that's a very short warning space, just 2 hours there. And then we've a yellow wind warning for Clare, Cork, Kerry, Limerick, Galway, so basically the west and the southwest. Very strong winds developing, and they'll come from the northwest. Gusts of 80 210 km/h expected. Stronger in coasts and over high ground. Also, coastal flooding could occur by the coast due to overtopping, as well as a wind warning for the rest of the country. That's Leinster, Cavan, Donegal, Mahon, that's Ulster, Leitrim, Mayo, Roscommon, Sligo, East and Northern Connacht, and that's Tipperary and Waterford, that's East Munster. So same sort of concepts as the other warning, except as the winds won't be coming from the sea, they'll be coming over land. There's no risk of coastal flooding. And then tomorrow, all we have left is a little small craft warning for the coast. So now, looking at the wind speeds from we.com, if we put the gusts on, we can see that there's very strong winds in the southwest right now, gusting up to around gusting between 50 and 60 miles or knots per hour. That's between 96 and 111 km/h, I think. And those winds will gradually push eastwards across the country today. So you can see the darker colours moving across. So gusts between, I'd say, around 45 and 50 knots per hour. That would be around, 85 to 96 km/h. Stronger along the northwest coasts and over high ground. You can see over the mountains in Wicklow, down towards mountains in the south, and in the southwest with the big ranges there, and northwest. Now just push through, and these winds gradually push eastwards, and they die out before they slightly get stronger towards Friday. Radar map. Let's look at this. Okay, so we now have a band of rain that's clearing the east and the southeast right now. This rain did have a bit of sleet in it as it came through. A tiny bit of ice in the rain. So it is quite cold still. And I'm pretty sure that there's fellow snow in the Midlands as well. I'll show you the precept type radar in a minute. And we can also see a few more showers banding together towards the west of Kilkenny, towards the west of Waterford, down towards Cork. And then heavy showers in the southwest. And these little brown shades here, like for here, for example, here as well, here. There are a few lightning strikes off the south coast, but those will probably stay offshore. And there's a front waiting to the northwest. satellite is like this. So you can see it very, very nicely, a nice hook in the cloud here, showing the intensity of the low pressure. You can see this band of rain that just clears. More showers in the west, pushing eastwards. And in the north, it's dry, with a bit of sunshine actually possible in the east of the northern half of the country, but in the west of the northern half of the country, it's cloudy and it's probably quite drizzly. And out in the Atlantic, we can see this big wraparound occlusion, and this is what's going to bring the severe winds across the country today as this pushes eastwards. So if I just play the satellite, yeah, you can see very nicely how this band of rain has pushed eastwards to south there. The north has been quite dry all along this morning, but that is soon to change as that occlusion pushes eastwards, and these showers push eastwards as well. Now, this is the AccuWeather precip type radar, and we see this anywhere that's green is rain, and anywhere that's blue is snow. And you can see that it's currently snowing across the mountains and also just west of Dublin, around this M4 region. And if I just push this back a little bit, you can see that quite a bit of fellow snow. Like, for example, just around Carlow, Portlaoise, Burr, Newbridge, all areas in between counties, Carlow, Kildare, Offaly, I think, is included there as well, possibly East Clare, this sort of region. So if any of you are watching from that region, do let me know if you saw some snow, because I'm quite interested. It's April. I mean, April is so you can get snow in April, but it is quite remarkable to see possibly some quite widespread snow there this morning in the Midlands. So yeah, that's really quite interesting. Now we're into the UKV, and we're looking at the precip and temperature forecasts for the next 5 days or so in detail. So let's see what it's showing. So starting off today, we can see quite nicely we've got a mix of rain, sleet, and snow pushing through, falling the snow in the Midlands. It's a bit further south, this band of precip, compared to what... this run had the precip a bit further north than what's really happening right now. It's sort of... the northern edge of the precip is sort of just around this sort of west of Dublin line, but it's having it around Cavan into Fermanagh, down into Roscommon, Sligo, this sort of area, and Leitrim. So it's a bit further south than anticipated by this model. That'll clear eastwards, and we have a little weather slots. Track this little gap here. You can see on the satellite, and that would be a little window where the low pressure centre just moves through, and we see a little gap before the rain comes back, and the winds really pick up in the afternoon with this occlusion here. Then that clears off. Into Thursday, we see showers coming into the north in the morning, all along the spells of rain. This comes through. And during Thursday, we see some showers developing countrywide, heaviest in the north, possibly hail there as well, before a high cloud increases in the south overnight. And we see a bit of rain push into the south in the early hours of Friday morning. That will scoot away early Friday morning, and we will see showers across the country again Friday afternoon and evening, heavy at times, especially in the north and east. Lots of hail there. Then we push through to Saturday, and we see skies clearing for a night Saturday morning, so it could be frosty and foggy with that. But then we will see cloud increase from the west, and that will bring rain to the country, especially the north and west of the country, where maybe heavy for a time. Then that fragments and pushes eastwards, and then Sunday is basically a cloudy day, quite mild. We may see some brighter spells breaking through in the afternoon, but other than that, it's quite miserable. And Monday looks like more rain's pushing from the west, but I think that this may be blocked off by high pressure over the continent. Now, that's actually, I do want to show you the wind gusts forecast in miles per hour here. So you can see quite nicely this very, very strong swathe of winds pushing across Cork and Kerry this morning, hence that orange warning. That pushes through, and then it's briefly really quite calm actually towards the north of Dublin, towards the North Midlands into Connacht this morning, as the centre of the low moves through there. Excuse me. If we push through towards midday, you can see it's getting very violent in the western half of the country, but the east is still quite light with the winds, around 20 miles per hour, with the gusts towards 30 miles per hour in the southeast. But then we push through the afternoon and look at that very widespread gusts of around 60 miles per hour. That's around 96 kilometers per hour, I think, just below 100 kilometers per hour. And we actually see that in the there's a little swathe of very stronger winds, of really quite strong winds pushing through. So right there, possibly above 60, so it's getting above 100 kmh, and that would be really, really quite damaging, especially inland. You don't often get very strong winds in lands. You tend to get these around the coasts more. Naturally, so possibly disruption with that. Very strong winds on the north coast, like around Donegal, still around 60 miles per hour, or 70 even. Then that pushes through, and we see some strong winds down the Irish Sea, gusting in excess of 60 miles per hour, but that's mainly affecting the Isle of Man and Wales. Then that dies down. Oops, I don't know what that is there. I think there's a little glitch for some reason. We'll ignore that for a second. But anyway, the key is that very strong winds will push across the country today, this afternoon. Disruptive winds, possibly power outages as well. But tonight they will ease off. Now I'm going to whiz through these charts, so we know it's going to be really quite cold and wet up until Friday and Saturday. Before Sunday, we see high pressure building from the southwest and the east, and that high pressure blocks off the Atlantic for next week, bringing in easterly winds. I say temperatures around average with that wind, possibly a bit cloudy at times as well. Before at the end of the GFS run, we seem to be breaking in some slightly cooler air from the north, with high pressure centered more to the west, so that brings in cooler wind from the north. And then at the very end of the run, we see low pressure moving in from the north, and that brings in cool and wet end to April, probably with a lot of quite hefty downpours with that. And then we finish up looking at this Friday, April 28th, high pressure to the west and to the east, and low pressure through the country, bringing rain showers. ECMWF run looks like this. I'm really going to zip through these now. See quite nicely the rain clearing through, and the high pressure builds in from the east next week. So that's quite a fine and dry week. I'm going to do the GEM run. There we go. Thank you. So you can see quite nicely the way the rain clears through this weekend. High pressure builds in from the east, ridges in from the east. Quite a warm air mass with that actually. So if it's sunny, it will be quite warm. High pressure then is comes right over the country into the end of the week, and next weekend I think the ridges is probably just cooling off very slightly, so colder nights probably being generated, but fine days at the same time. UK Met run looks like this. So as we can see, high pressure from the east this weekend into early next week, and that should be quite nice. Icon. We're going to rocket through these as I don't have much time left. They push through. High pressure builds in the east. So it's quite a strong signal basically from these model runs that it will turn drier next week as well as a bit warmer. Now the arpeggio doesn't reach the scale, the time frame where the easterly comes in, but I think the building blocks are there for it. Anyway, that's it for today's update. Stay safe in the strong winds. I may have a little update for you later on, just on how things are progressing. For now, stay safe and enjoy the wild weather. Bye for now and stay safe.